What's going on, folks? This is Colion Noir, and we're back for another episode of Seeing Live on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. And I remember the first time I actually set out to buy a rifle. I mainly came up in the gun world as a kind of a handgun guy. Most of the guns I shot were handguns. Most of the 4 or 5 guns I bought in that first month after shooting for the first time were all handguns. Inevitably, I ended up catching that bug and decided that I wanted to start jumping into the rifle world. And the first rifle I bought was an AK-47. I largely, for whatever reason, I just didn't really have an eye for AR-15s at that time. AKs were what I knew, so that's what I sought out to get. And I'm pretty sure pricing had a lot to do with it as well, because it was during a time where AKs could be had at a really affordable price. Inevitably, I did start to get that AR-15 bug as well. And I decided at that point to kind of start delving in and researching, trying to find the best AR I possibly can, the best balance between how much I had to pay for it and the quality that I wanted, what I had to live with, what I didn't have to live with. At the time, didn't really understand how modular AR-15s were. Long story short, it was a bit overwhelming because there was so much in the way of options, and not necessarily the best options in the world either. Fast forward to now, I feel sorry for anyone who's shopping for a new AR-15 for the first time, because the options now compared to where they were before have skyrocketed. And at this point, it's really hard to delineate between quality versus not quality. And then on top of that, you can't necessarily always go on price, because you can have something that's incredibly affordable, but then still be high quality, versus something that was a little less affordable, but then not have the same quality in that regard. Nonetheless, I know a lot of you who are in the gun industry, are aware of a new release from a company who hadn't had an AR-15 up until this point. And that company is Springfield Armory. They have an incredible reputation as far as handguns are concerned, especially their M1As. Those are legendary. I have one myself. I love it. But we've never known them to be an AR company as well until today, when they released their new AR-15 called the Saint. Check this video out. I gotta say, just the visuals in that video alone really did a lot for me. I'm a really big on visuals kind of guy. And so watching that commercial for the first time kind of definitely left me feeling some type of way. But I feel even more type of way, considering who I have joining me live today. I have the owner of Springfield Armory, Mr. Denny Reese, and his daughter, Stefany Reese. How's it going, guys?
Hi.
Hey, great, Colion.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Good to be here.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. So let's just jump right into it and talk about the new AR. You guys aren't really known as an AR company, but now you guys decided to kind of jump into the AR market and put out something for the world to consume. What made you decide that this was the right time to come out with an AR-15?
Well, I think the AR-15 is a rifle that I've always wanted to build. I mean, since 1995. It is a platform that I've always dreamt of bringing into the marketplace. So I think we've just decided of recently, and even though there's more than 20 years of dreaming going into making that ideal rifle come out and be available, it's just in the last 2 or 3 years that we've decided to get serious about it and make that happen. So it's like I said, it was my birthday yesterday. And
happy belated.
Thank you. Today's All Saints Day, which is kind of ironic and interesting in terms of bringing out our Saint rifle, and so we're really proud, and I'm super excited about having this opportunity to do this. It's just amazing.
Yeah, no, at least for me, coming up in the gun industry the way that I have, I was always very familiar and aware of Springfield Armory. But like I said, more so from the handgun side of things, and then, of course, historically for the M1A. So for me, it was interesting seeing or knowing that you guys were coming out with an AR-15 and then wondering what that would be like. And I got to say, I think it's pretty dead on in line with the rest and the range of the other stuff or quality products that you guys put out. So from that standpoint, this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is going to be more of a kind of an entry-level AR-15. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And so what did you want that AR to accomplish in terms of being the entry-level AR-15? Because I'm pretty sure there was a bit of a balance there. There's always a balance, especially when we're talking about something that's entry-level, between pricing and then still providing a quality product.
Sure. Yeah, I think the rifle, we believe, what we wanted to really accomplish was to bring a rifle out that would be able to shoot right out of the box. And in typical Springfield Armory form, we wanted to bring as much value as we could possibly bring to the package in that type of environment.
Yeah.
So the rifle comes with a host of features that you would pay quite a bit more for it to buy if you're buying an entry-level rifle. So you don't have to really go out and buy add-on features to build a rifle that is really one of the entry-level, lower price point ARs that you'll find in the market right now. This rifle is ready to go right out of the box.
And I feel like I'm actually kind of a good testament to this, because despite my having grown up around firearms my whole life, I consider myself to be a novice shooter. And especially, I'm assuming mostly because we've never made an AR-15 before, my exposure to them has been fairly minimal. When I finally got a chance to shoot the Saint, I got a chance to really witness how out of the box it is. It was so intuitive to use. It made me a great shot, which I think is saying a lot. I think you can probably attest to that too. So
now, Stefany, considering you do consider yourself a novice, kind of talk to me about how frustrating, or if there is any frustration at all, the idea of getting a first-time AR and then having to understand, okay, is this something that I have to actually do stuff to, or is it something I can take right out of the box? I'm pretty sure you had a lot of influence in that regard.
Right, exactly, yes. Because I think there are so many first-time buyers that, by the looks of it, as you can see, if you don't really know a lot about it, it can possibly look intimidating. I think also, the media probably has done a lot to probably further that along as well. So a lot of people don't know where to start, and I think this is a great starter gun, as my dad was saying. There's not a lot of question marks.
Yeah, I managed to, I'm not going to incriminate myself, I'm going to plead the fifth preemptively, to steal one for the night.
No one will tell.
Yeah. And I got to say, it was definitely, and in the video I did about it, one of the biggest aspects of that I wish it was a gun that was around when I was starting to look for an AR initially. Because the one thing I kept hearing over and over again as I was looking at different entry-level ARs was all the things I need to do to it. It's almost kind of like I'm buying a gun, not necessarily to buy the gun, but a blank canvas that some child had scribbled all over, and now I have to figure out a way to erase all the color markings and then start brand new after I spent $700 to $800 on this rifle. So I got to say that with the Saint, it definitely does feel like a gun. I can live with it exactly the way it is instead of having to rip it apart and build it back up again. Yeah,
I think there's a general tendency for a lot of people love this rifle for that reason. It's kind of a Tinker Toys or Legos form of modular firearm.
Yeah.
And I think within that is obviously some great advantages in the case of new shooters come to the market. As Stefany said, it's a little bit intimidating, so you can really get started with this and know you're getting a great value and getting some serious components in it that you'll find on even the finest $2,000, $3,000 rifles.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One of the things I noticed immediately was the furniture option. I think sometimes when we think entry, for some reason we expect antiquity,
right?
so to speak. And I love the fact that the Saint looks as modern as it does and as sleek as it does, while still having furniture that, like I said in the video also, I'd put that on any rifle that I own now, whether it's a $2,000 rifle or a $4,000 rifle. And I think that plays a big part in having that feeling of, you know what, this is my rifle, this is the rifle I bought, and it's going to be the way it is.
Right,
it's going to stay
right.
this way.
Yeah, and it's like we did on our XD family of firearms is all about ergonomics.
Uh-huh.
The way this rifle is styled and set up is, again, all about ergonomics. It just feels right.
Awesome. So we're going to take a quick break here, but when we come back, I want to talk to you guys about the approach you guys took in terms of the messaging, because that's also a bit different than what I'm usually accustomed to when a new gun comes out. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about that.
All right.
All right.